First, it was the cattle dropping dead in Kansas. Now, the wheat crops are being wiped out on a massive scale in the state of Kansas. Officials there are reporting that wheat crops in the state are failing on a massive scale following the mysterious deaths of thousands of cattle recently. There's nothing out there, it's dead, farmer Vince Enk told reporters surveying the wheat field near his land in Lane County. It's just ankle-high straw. According to conservative estimates by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, at least 41% of all wheat in Kansas is in very poor condition. The most important news reports, the situation is particularly dire. In the western portion of the state, it's being reported that many fields of wheat in western Kansas now resemble barren wastelands. Across western Kansas, many fields planted with wheat months ago now look like barren wastelands. The gaping spaces between rows of brown, shriveled plants reveal hardened dirt that's scarred with deep cracks from baking in the sun. Of all the years of drought to hit western Kansas wheat farmers, it could not have come at a worse time. Even though the price of wheat has soared to crazy levels, it's being estimated that somewhere around 10% of all wheat fields in Kansas will not even grow enough crops to bother harvesting them. It's really bad news, but the truth is that things are even worse in Texas and Colorado. To the west in Colorado, projections say nearly a third of wheat fields will not produce enough to bother in harvesting. Texas, around 3/4 of the crop will likely be abandoned. That's ridiculous. That's astonishingly terrible. 3/4 of the crop. Now, this is enormous news, but it's going to deeply affect all of us in the months ahead. The worst possible time, wheat crops are failing on a massive scale all over the western half of the nation. And we have been stuck in a pattern of drought that resembles the Dust Bowl days of the 1930s for many years now. And things are starting to happen which would have once been unthinkable. Lake Mead and Lake Powell have both dropped to all-time record lows, and the drinking water for tens of millions of Americans is now in jeopardy. So we would wish that more people would understand the gravity of what we're potentially facing. Down in Mexico, residents of Monterrey are already being limited to 6 hours of water a day because shortages have already become so severe. Western half of North America is in the midst of the worst multi-year drought it's experienced in 1,200 years. 1,200 years. Okay, the worst drought in 1,200 years. And experts are telling us that it's not going to end anytime soon. Meanwhile, UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed is warning us that the planet is potentially facing, quote, a food crisis of global proportions next year, 2023. Global food production is going to be way below expectations all over the world this year. We really are heading into a nightmarish worldwide food crisis. Authorities are telling us that an absolutely massive sunspot known as AR 3038 is now facing Earth. This particular sunspot has actively doubled in size for each of the past 3 days, and at this point, it's approximately 2.5 times the size of our entire planet, and we are being warned that it could potentially send M-class solar flares directly at us. Scientists are assuring us we probably don't have anything to be concerned about. At most, it'll be a blackout for a couple of tens of minutes. Now, let's keep, because it's an M-class flare, but let's keep a close eye on that sunspot anyway. We know about the matter of time before, 19th century, the Carrington event. And we lived during such unusual times that things seem to be getting crazier with each passing week. This is by Sean out of the Dubai News Punch. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.